Before you write a single resolution for the new year, I want you to ask a different question. What are you actually done carrying? In today's episode of How to Lose the Weight, we're doing an emotional declutter for the new year. I'll walk you through a step-by-step process to let go of outdated roles, beliefs, and habits so you're not dragging the same old story into 2026. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Now, before we talk about what you want to do next year, I want you to think about what you're dragging with you, because most of us write our New Year's resolutions like we're packing for a trip with an overstuffed suitcase. We start making lists like, I'm going to be more confident. I'm going to work out more. I'm finally going to start that business. But we don't notice that underneath all of these good intentions, we're still carrying around guilt about what we didn't do last year. Those old roles we're tired of performing, identities that don't fit us anymore, and this running commentary in our head that basically says, who are you kidding? That's emotional clutter. And if you try to build a new you on top of all of that, it's like organizing one drawer while the rest of the house is on fire. It might look better for a minute, but chaos is still running the show. So today we're not writing resolutions. We're doing an emotional declutter. I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step process to figure out which beliefs, habits, and identities are coming with you into the new year and which ones get lovingly thanked and left behind. Think of this as an inner cleanse for your next chapter, the one it really deserves. Now, if you're new here, I'm Holly Toscanini, host of How to Lose the Weight, and I help women stop putting their lives on hold and start actually living the next chapter they've been postponing for years. So let's talk about what you need to leave behind so you don't spend 2026 repeating the same old story. Now, when I say emotional decluttering, I don't mean forget everything and move on. I mean getting honest about which parts of your identity, your routines, and beliefs actually belong to the current version of you, and which ones are just taking up mental and emotional closet space. Now, what is emotional clutter? Well, it's the psychological equivalent of an overflowing attic or a junk drawer that just won't close anymore. It represents all the unprocessed rules, roles, spoken and unspoken stories, and inherited or outdated expectations that silently pile up in the corners of your head and in your body. Now, just as physical clutter can create a sense of chaos in your home, emotional clutter creates a perpetual low-grade static in your mind. And the link between physical and mental clutter is well established. Research on physical clutter consistently shows it's linked to higher levels of stress, chronic anxiety, and significant difficulty focusing or making decisions. And clearing it up can result in people feeling more present, more productive, and less perpetually overwhelmed. Now, emotional clutter works with the same insidious logic. Competition for attention. See, too many internal shoulds and unresolved conflicts and old stories really compete with that limited mental energy. This constant internal negotiation drains your ability to focus on what truly matters in the present moment. Next is the burden of unlived lives. Our clutter, whether material items or assigned roles, often represent our possible selves, the version of you who was going to be that flawless stay-at-home parent, or the tireless high performer who never needed a break, or the always available friend who sacrifices her own needs. Now, letting go of these imagined, often perfectionistic views of yourself can feel like a small, necessary death. It's the grief for a self you never became, but it's essential for embracing the self you are now. Now, midlife is the prime time for this work because it's a period ripe for emotional decluttering. As women move through their 40s and 50s, our identity often becomes significantly more complex and layered, encompassing roles like caregiver, professional leader, long-term partner, or even parent of adult children. And this complexity frequently leads to profound tension between who we have been and who we're actively becoming. Now, the structures and expectations that served us in our 20s and 30s, which is a relentless drive for external achievement or a focus on pleasing others, kind of began to rub us the wrong way. This is a powerful invitation to perform an internal inventory. Now, there are three sort of categories of internal clutter. Our decluttering process is going to focus on these three key areas where emotional clutter frequently accumulates and drains our energy. The first is outdated identities and roles. Now, these are the labels you've carried or been assigned that no longer resonate with your current values or lifestyle. Now, this could include the good girl identity, the always planner, the role of martyr mother, or burnout as badge of honor professional. And we're going to examine which roles still serve you and which are historical artifacts that you no longer need to wear. Next, sticky beliefs and stories. Now, these are the deep seated narratives that you tell yourself about your worth, your capabilities, and your limitations. Examples could include I'm not creative enough, or success requires my suffering, or my needs are secondary. We're going to identify the origin of these stories and assess their objective truth in your current life. Then, habits and obligations that no longer fit. This category addresses the external commitments and automatic behaviors, social, professional, or personal, that you continue out of momentum, guilt, or fear of disappointing others, even if they deplete your energy and violate your current priorities. This is the operational clutter that keeps your calendar full, but your soul empty. So, step one, choose your room. When you declutter a physical house, you don't start by emptying every drawer in every room at once, right? I mean, you pick one space. Emotional decluttering works the same way. So for this exercise, I want you to pick one area of your life that feels especially heavy or stuck right now. It might be your work or career, your relationships, your body and self-image, or your overall identity, how you see yourself as a woman in this season of your life. Now, if you can, pause this episode later and jot it down. For now, just pick one in your mind. Ask yourself, where do I feel the most dread, resentment, or exhaustion when I think about carrying it into another year? That's your room. That's where we're going to start. Step two, let's take inventory, our beliefs, our roles, and our habits. Now that you've picked your room, we're going to do a fast inventory. So if you're able to write right now, you can do a quick list. If not, just mentally note what comes up. We're going to look at three buckets: identities and roles, beliefs and stories, habits and obligations. Let's start with identities and roles. In this area of your life, who have you been trying to be? Now complete these prompts in your mind or on paper if you can. In this area, I've been trying to be the woman who always fill in the blank. The role I feel stuck in is fill in the blank. The version of me I'm still performing, even though she doesn't fit anymore, is fill in the blank. Maybe you're still playing the fixer for your family, or the star employee who never says no, or the low maintenance friend who never has needs. Just notice what comes up. No judgment, no editing. Self-concept is our internal picture of who we are. It's shaped by roles, expectations, and past feedback. And changing roles in our adulthood can make that picture feel kind of blurry for a while. But it's a normal part of life, especially midlife development. Next, beliefs and stories. Now let's look at our beliefs and stories and ask ourselves this: what do I believe about myself here? What do I believe other people expect from me? Now then try filling in these blanks. I'll try not to go so quickly this time. Okay, first, a story I keep telling myself about this area is. Next, the sentence that plays on repeat in my head is. And it might sound like it's too late for me to change, or if I stop overperforming, everything's going to fall apart, or I'm the one who holds it all together. Again, we're not arguing with it yet. We're just pulling things out of the drawer so we can see them. Next is habits and obligations. I want you to ask yourself, what am I doing out of obligation, habit, or guilt that I actually don't want to bring into 2026? Things like, where am I saying yes when I mean no? What routines or commitments feel heavier than maybe they're worth? Maybe it's a weekly meeting you don't need to be in, or a group you've outgrown, or the habit of checking email at 10 o'clock at night just in case. Put it all on the list. This is your emotional clutter inventory. By the way, research on journaling shows that just putting your thoughts and feelings into words can reduce stress and help your brain process what's been swirling around in the background. So even a messy list like this is already doing some quiet cleanup for you. Step 3. We're going to sort through these things. So now that you have your pile, your list, we're going to treat it like a closet clean out. Every single item on that list goes into one of 3 piles: the keep, the update, or the release. Keep. These are some of our identities, beliefs, and habits that still fit us. You're going to want to keep them in that keep pile. Things like you want to keep, I'm a loving friend, or I'm someone who follows through on what matters to me. Those types of things go in the keep pile. Update. Some things aren't wrong, they're just outdated. For example, the old version of you might say, I'm the one who always says yes, or everything falls apart. You can update this by saying, I'm someone people can count on, and I also protect my own energy and time. Now, if an identity or belief feels a little more accurate, kinder, or you've got a better midlife version of it, it can go in the update pile. Lastly is the release pile, those things that no longer feel like you, or maybe they never really were you. These just don't belong in your next chapter. They could be beliefs like, it's too late for me, or I have to earn my worth by over-delivering, or if I rest, I'm failing. And it could be roles like the perpetual peacekeeper, or the emotional shock absorber for everybody in the family, or the one who never has needs. Or they could be habits like automatically saying yes before you really think about it, or taking responsibility for everybody else's feelings. Those definitely go into that release pile. Now, you're allowed to be done with identities and obligations that no longer match who you're becoming. And while shedding past identities can feel a little intense, this process is essential for developing a healthier self-concept during midlife. Now you get to actually choose. If you're in a place where you can put a K for keep, a U for update, or an R next to each thing that you've got listed on your list. If not, you can just mentally pick one thing you're keeping, one thing you're updating, and one thing you're ready to let go of. Letting go isn't just an idea. Your brain and body respond to concrete actions. So I want to offer you a few simple release rituals you can use for the things in your release pile. Write that belief or role that you're ready to release on a piece of paper. It could be something like, I'm responsible for keeping everyone happy. Underneath that statement, write something that's a little more true for you right now. Something like, I can care about people without being responsible for their emotions. Now, read the old one once and then read the new one twice. Then tear the paper up and throw it away. Recycle it, please. As a physical signal, this does not get to be the headline of my life moving forward. Next, for obligations you're releasing, write one simple sentence you can actually say or email. Something like, I've loved being part of this, but as I move into the new year, I'm simplifying my commitments and won't be able to continue in this role. You don't owe a full TED Talk explanation. Short and clear is enough. Next, look at your calendar for January 2026. Ask yourself, what here belongs to the woman I am becoming? And what here belongs to an old version of me that I am ready to let go? And then, this might sting a bit, cancel or reschedule one thing that clearly belongs to the old version. Next, set a timer for 5 minutes and write what I'm no longer willing to carry into 2026. And don't worry about sentences. Don't worry about writing full sentences. Don't worry about punctuation. Just get it out. After you've gotten it all on paper, you can burn it afterwards if you want. That's optional. It's not required. But you don't have to release everything at once. Please choose at least one belief, one role, or one obligation you are absolutely not going to take with you into the new year, and mark it with a real concrete action. That is emotional decluttering. It's not dramatic, it's deliberate. Let's wrap up with a small carry it forward exercise, okay? We've talked about what you're leaving behind. Now I want you to choose what you are bringing with you. Complete these 3 sentences in your head or on paper. The woman I am becoming in 2026 is someone who no longer fill in the blank. She gives herself permission to fill in the blank. This year, I am committed to protecting fill in the blank. That might be your time, your energy, your peace, I don't know, your creativity, or just your joy. This is your midlife reset. You are not starting from scratch. You're editing, curating, being intentional about what actually belongs in your next chapter. Now, before you write a single resolution for the new year, I want you to ask, what am I actually done with? Because your next chapter doesn't just require a new to-do list, it requires a new story about who you are and what you're willing to bring with you into the future. Now, if you're listening to this and thinking, okay, I can feel that I need a reset, but I'm not even sure where my biggest blocks are, I created something to help with that. It's called the 5-Minute Midlife Confidence Quiz, and it's designed specifically for women in this season of life who are ready to stop waiting and start actually living. In just a few minutes, you'll find out where your confidence is maybe leaking out a little bit, whether it's your inner critic, your boundaries, your body trust, or your decision making. And once you take the quiz, you will get a personalized confidence plan with simple, specific next steps. Just click the link in the show notes. And remember, you don't have to drag your old story into a new year. If this episode helped you, please share it with a friend who's already talking about resolutions, but maybe is still carrying way too much emotional weight from the last few years. You can watch this episode on my YouTube channel or listen wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to check the show notes for the link to the 5-Minute Midlife Confidence Quiz. Your next chapter isn't waiting for someday. It starts with small moments just like this one. Until next time, bye for now.